Worn by the Wicked Witch. And it includes the CD. Or, I'm sorry, by Eartha Kitt, thank you very much. And the CD. Any further parts of the package you will have to negotiate on your own, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Let me explain to you a few rules about the auction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a really special package because you get to pick what you want. There'll be an order form of the jackets. Come on. Of the jackets, you can pick either this one with the leather sleeves, the wool jacket with the wonderful embroidery on the back, Wizard of Oz, full color, terrific. I have to tell you, these jackets, this is a terrific value when we're going to open these bids, because these jackets, when we went out with the ballet, which I work for Blue Suede Shoes, these jackets cost around $150 to $175 just to have made. So this is a terrific buy on these jackets. Or, yes, or you like people, or you can have the jean jacket, something a little more casual with the full embroidery. Very nice. Thank you, ladies. Come on now. Anybody want in for $325? I've got 300 once, 300 twice. Sold for $300. Thank you very much. This, you get the size that it is, so you can see it as it fits this gentleman here. Terrific size for everybody. How about $150 now? I've got 100 over, 150 over here. How about two? How about two? Now, would have been enough for $200. I have 150 over here. How about two? How about it now? How about 250? I've got two. $200 over there. How about 250? How about it now? Come on, he's got it all the way off. What more do you want?
I'm back. I can always tell when an angel's creeping up behind me. Jessica Grove, ladies and gentlemen, another warm, not so warm, round of applause for Dorothy. We're also very sorry that Mr. Mickey Rooney, the great and powerful Oz, is somewhere under the weather tonight. He couldn't be with us. But our hearts and thoughts and prayers kind of go out to him. I guess this is the part I like the most, where you can see me in all my glory next to all my splendor. And we get to announce the people who actually paid the price.
Miss Petula Clark.
When you don't see the why or the wherefore. yourselves, for goodness sake. This is serious. I'm really so happy to be with you all here this evening, singing some of my songs and speaking with my own voice for once. I love the marvellous musicians from Sunset, Patrick, Jason, and Jean. I'm really very happy to be here. I was flattered to be asked here tonight on this special occasion, and I just hope that we can, make some money for this very worthy cause. I'd like to do a poem for you. And you think, oh yeah, poem, right, okay. Oh God, oh God. I love you too. Now this is a poem which I wrote on a train, but not just any old train, darling, of course. It was the Eurostar train which goes between London and Paris and London. And I was on my way back from Paris to London, and it was night time, and it was full of French people talking very loud and on their stupid mobile phones, Allons, oui, oh oui, nous sommes sur le train pour Londres. Thousands of them, and I don't own a mobile, and so I had nothing to read, and it was dark, so I couldn't watch the beautiful countryside, which is what I usually do, so I thought, all right, I'm going to write a poem, and it's the only poem I've ever written, and it's about the theatre, and I think it seems a little appropriate tonight, and here it is. It's a funny thing, the theatre, when you stop and think of it. The comedy, the drama, when you're striving for a hit. The very idea of an audience and an actor on the stage, well, don't you think it's rather funny watching someone earn his wage? There's something about the theatre, though I'm not sure what it is. It's surely not the money or the thing they call chambers. We hear about the magic of the theatre, fantasy, quite unlike the movies or the telly. I agree. I love going to the theatre, sitting right there where you are, watching my favourite actor, or the birth of a new star, and all those magic evenings with Lloyd Webber or the Bard, an old play by whoever, something new by Tom Stoppard, and the musicals of Bernstein, Hammerstein, and Sondheim are so sublime that sometimes I wish they'd never end. The best way to go to the theatre is right there through the stage door. I leave the world behind me, like a mantle on the floor. And oh, the sweet relief to know at least for the next few hours I'll know the plot. And in these times, that's quite a lot. And everybody knows their lines and who they are and where they stand. It's grand. Unlike the world outside these doors, the homeless that the world ignores, the violence, the poverty, the things we cannot help but see, including our own inadequacy to somehow make it right. I can't forget the things I've seen in all the places that I've been. I can't forget. Some haunt me yet. The millions of refugees. And my anger will not let me sleep. And when my grief becomes too deep, I sing. I sing. I sing along with friends. We sing and try to make amends for some of life's insanity. And in the name of charity, we beg for money on the stage. We smile and try to hide our rage. We try to help. I know that you do too. Most of us do. So here we are in this hallowed place, sharing a special time and space. I hadn't realized it before, but maybe that's what the theatre is for, to bring us together, to make us see that the magic is not just some fantasy, though we all need some fantasy. No, the magic is here, in you, in me. It's a funny thing, the theatre.
Get petulant, okay? Thank you. Another round from Tula Clark. I don't know anybody, anywhere that didn't carve a niche on their adolescence with downtown. It's time to go to downtown to uptown, and in Cleveland that's not very far, so I won't keep you waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Happy Days are here again, and I don't mean the Nick at Night version. Jessica Grove and Caroline McMahon.
Thank you.
lovely and talented Jessica Grove and Miss Carolyn McMahon. The two Dorothys traveling with a national tour of The Wizard of Oz. Happy days are here again, and get happy, you get the picture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, a tasty little morsel who melts in your heart and not in your hand, Miss Candid Dish. miniseries, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty. I asked for her number, she gave me 911. Thank you very much. Anyway, your contributions on stage are all tax deductible if you left your name and social security number there. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great Wizard of Oz privilege and a pleasure to introduce our very own Cowardly Lion and veteran of many, many, many Broadway affairs, Mr. Francis Rudy Barr, and everybody, including me, wants to be Sunday.
Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. And so they write a melody that goes somewhere unexpectedly, because they think that's how they get to be like Sondheim. Listen as they hammer out one chord. Listen as they hammer it till everyone's bored. That's how they pray to their Lord, Mr. Sondheim. And they pack their lyrics till they're so damn tense, you can put it in your yard, you can use it as a fence, and they honestly believe that they've captured the sense of the Sondheim. I want to be Oscar Hammerstein, I want to be Cole Porter. What's wrong if my song is prettier and clearer and shorter? Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. And so they offered no relief from the stern and drang, so swept in grief, and all that pain is never brief. Oh no. Listen as they hammer out one chord. Listen till you're ready for the lunatic ward. No wonder Sweeney Todd went out of his chord, Mr. Sondheim. Where you going? Going bananas. Oh, I wanna be Richard Rogers. I wanna be Jerry Herman. So what if I'm writing songs for the ghost of Ethel Merman? She had red home. Everybody wants to be Sondheim today. But I don't want to be Sondheim, no way. I don't want to write another Sunday in the park. I don't want to write the next Into the Woods. I admire his style, but his style is his, not mine. And yet, the epidemic can be cured. Even Stephen would be disturbed to see what he has spawned universally. Everybody wants to be Sondheim. Everybody wants to finish the Everybody wants to be Sondheim, but yours truly. Everybody wants to assault your ear. Don't send in the clones, they're already here. Everybody wants to be Sondheim, trying every time to rhyme internally. Everything's calling on Sondheim.
Everybody wants to be Sondheim, indeed, but I want to be Francis. Francis Rudy Barr, the Cowardly Lion. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, earlier this evening, y'all were privileged to witness the wonders of the male ensemble from the cast of The Wizard of Oz. Now, for those of y'all who have been lying in anticipation, please, this is my favorite part, I get to introduce all the women of the cast of Oz. You know, a woman has her day. We got 15 women, 15 days. I hope you're here for a while. Thanks.
world peace, 'cause there ain't nothing that I can do. I can make it less, I don't make it bad, I make it
Inspire me to enjoy a committed relationship. I love my job. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, or most of us know, life on the road can be fraught with peril. You know, it's no easy thing, and some of us are more well-traveled than others. Some of us know how better to navigate the after-hours room service, get the laundromat, and get it done before the next show. But some have done it more than I have, and I'm not one to tell. So here to tell us of her exploits and conquests, a woman who Linda Tripp has never been able to catch on tape. With or without cigar, please give a warm, benefit welcome to Hortense.
Follow the brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Well, now which way do I go? Oh, you have to excuse me, I'm a little muddled. You see, I ran into this chick named Dorothy who said that if I just walked down this road, that it was a great way to pick up men. Let me start at the beginning. My name is Hortense. Well, it is. I come from a large family. Yes, 15 in my family. All children. My papa used to say to me, "Listen, stupid." He always liked to call me listen. He said, "Why don't you go get yourself a job so at least we know what kind of work you're out of?" I said, "I tried, Papa, I tried, but life is hard. Life is hard, Papa, and I'm gonna run away from home. Do you hear me? I'm gonna run." He said, "On your mark, get set, get the hell out of here." These are 3-inch heels. And it's late, my feet are swollen. So I did. I ran all the way to the big city, New York City, where I got myself a job dancing with a dance troupe. And let me tell you, it was so much fun. Because you see, I danced on my left leg, and I danced on my right leg. Between the two of them, I made a whole lot of money. Right about that same time, my younger brother Monroe came to town, and he got a job right away working as a moan back, and then all sorts of opportunities over there. A moan back. Oh, baby, you don't know what a moan back is. A moan back is the guy was standing behind a garbage truck, and he yelled, "Moan back, moan back." Anyway, it wasn't for long. This is hard on your lower back, too. Anyway, it wasn't for long that our little dance troupe was invited to entertain the soldiers at Fort Dix. That's singular. And let me tell you, those boys were so nice. Because you see, when I walked into the barracks, all the privates stood up. And let me tell you something else. That colonel, he fell in love with me. Yes, he did. You see, it wasn't for long before he was asking me, "Hortense, my darling, will you grace my presence at the military ball?" And I said, "You silly goose, of course I will." You see, he wore his medals, and I wore my organ down. I mean my organdy gown. And we danced and sipped champagne. We danced and sipped champagne. And you know me, one drink and I can feel it all drinks and anybody can feel it all. Well, honey, that colonel, he began to get fresh, yes. He moved in, he got closer and closer and closer, and then he went off in his uniform. And I never saw him again. You see, after my colonel left, life was a drag. I said, yeah, after my colonel left, whoo, y'all mind if I take these off? Life was a drag. But it wasn't for long that I met that once-in-a-lifetime lover. His name was Old Judge Deadwood. Now, ladies, let me ask you, have you ever met a man like this? He was 90-something, and I was 22. He tells me that in bed, he's a real Don Juan. Well, honey, he didn't lie neither, because after one, he was done. Yeah, but he was so nice in his own way. I told him, I said, Judge, you had to talk loud so the judge couldn't hear. I said, Judge, if this leg is Thanksgiving and this leg is Christmas, why don't you come on up and visit me betwixt the holidays? Oh, yeah. That's right. Well, it wasn't long after that I met that once-in-a-lifetime lover. His name was Kent, Divine Kent, and honey, he had a thing so long it was bent. But that's a different story. I met Kent one night in this very racist nightclub. I was sitting there all alone, minding my own business. Kent wanders in, stumbles over to me, starts pouring me a shot of whiskey. And he says, say when? And I said, well, right after I finish this whiskey, big boy, what you think? It was a whirlwind courtship. You see, it wasn't for long that Kent was asking me, what did I want for an engagement present? And ladies, I told him, pearls, pearls, and more pearls. Do you know that fool gave me a bushel of oysters and wished me luck? Oh, but he was so generous in his own way. Because you see, on our wedding night, on our wedding night, he gave me this beautiful nightgown. Oh, ladies, it was beautiful. It was a baby doll. It came down to about right here, and it had fur around the bottom. And I asked him, I said, Kent, what's the fur for? He said, it's to keep the neck warm. She didn't get it. Explain it to me, baby. But child, that was a beautiful nightgown. In fact, I have it on right now. You want to see it? I took the fur off and put it on my shoes. Now you see, on our wedding night, thank you, darling. On our wedding night, Kent leaving me and he said, Hortense, my darling, am I the first? And I said, why does everybody always ask me that? For some reason, he became upset. Oh, he was all upset, and he got me upset, and I was driven to drink. Don't remember who drove me there. But the point is, Saloon was my middle name. You see, one night I was sitting in this bar minding my own business with my pet duck up under my arm. This drunk wanders in, stumbles over to me and says, hey, where'd you get the pig? And I said, this ain't no pig. He said, I was talking to the duck. Oh! Well, I never. Honey, one night I was so drunk. I said one night I was so drunk. Thank you, it's 12:30. One night, honey, I was so drunk that I woke up in bed, with this big old elephant. I turned and I looked at that elephant and I said, ooh, gee whiz, baby, I must have been hung last night. He said, well, I never. It's right then and there that I knew that I needed a 12-step program, some sort of intervention or something. So I got together. See, and I did get my act together. Got my act on the road, Broadway. It failed. Anyway, years after that, I was walking into the lobby of my hotel, and who did I see? Nobody but Kent. And who was he talking to? Nobody but that old colonel. Well, I walked by and I laughed gaily. I laughed gaily because I didn't want them to see the crack in my shattered heart. As I walked by, I heard Kent turn to the colonel and he said, is that Hortense? And the fella looked and said, no, she looked pretty relaxed to me. take a short stick and you beat the life out of you. I said, Kid, I have composed a poem for just such an occasion. And if you are standing on my last nerve, if you don't watch it, I'm going to tell you my poem. Y'all want to hear my poem? Yeah! Ooh, I got to take my shoes off. I said, Kid, the moon may kiss the stars on. The bee may kiss the butterfly. The morning dew may kiss the grass. And you, dear kid, may kiss. I'm a lady. Kiss me farewell. Oh, yes. Kiss me farewell. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Come on, Toto. Oh, watch this. Sit. Lie down. Beg. Ooh. Speak. Roof. Ah! He said roof. Oh, he knows all kinds of tricks. All right, we out of here. I can pick up my mistress. There you go. Now you go down that road with what you want, and I'll do the same. Bye-bye.
Living proof that sometimes it's better to be hortense than past tense. But darling, please, you know, if you're gonna go cruising down the yellow brick road looking to pick up men, even I'm gonna need a bigger basket than that, okay? All right, now folks, ladies and gentlemen, as we have told you before and time again, and as we have seen in the wonderful renditions of Downtown and so forth and so on, Mr. Petula Clark, this is a split joint venture between the cast of The Wizard of Oz and the National Touring Company of Sunset Boulevard. And we have a real treat in store for you presently. Okay, most of the people in Sunset Boulevard have agreed to share their talents and their expertise with this lovely benefit. And the first of those appearing is the lovely Kimla Beasley singing The Gypsy in Me. Please.
the igniting of desire in the air. But when there's just one profile, and yet desire grows, despite the fact there's no one else to care, must romance be abandoned as it's fanning its own flame, waiting to burst full blown? No. There's a special kind of bliss, not engendered with a kiss, surreptitiously indulged in, less well known. For when one cannot make love with another, one can still make love alone. There's a certain special magic to the touch of the hand, and a secret thrill knowing that you will for sure soon be feeling grand, and a tender bloom of rapture you don't have to try to postpone. That's what it's like when you're making love alone. Oh, the sweet, sweet sound of your own breathing as the sky turns pale pink to hot, and a secret thrill knowing that you will not catch God only knows what. It's the kind of love you've been dreaming of that bursts like a bud full grown. That's what it's like when you're making love alone. Who can describe the special sweetness of knowing the speed that you're going is right? Is there anything as thrilling as trying to keep the book open to page 24 all night? How reassuring to know when it's finally time to go, that you'll still be there when you leave. And as dawn is breaking, you find yourself making a date for New Year's Eve. It's the kind of love that fits hand in glove when the lips that meet are your own, or the dates you can't see their faces, the one who knows all the best places will never ask your sign on the phone. To do the simple magic of making love, not taking, faking, or mistaking love, the simple magic of making love alone. Save up alone, that's what it's like when you're making love alone.
The Beast and is currently touring in Sunset Boulevard. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm, beautiful welcome for Miss Sarah Uriarte-Berry, On My Own.
And now I'm all alone again, nowhere to turn, no one to go to. Without a home, without a friend, without a face to say hello to. And now the night
been to her home and I've petted her dog. Miss Karen Babcock Brassey tells us how she deals with the ups and downs of life with Arthur in the afternoon.
Everyone's noticed the change in me, the heartening, startling change in me. No longer depressed, I'm looking my best, and I'm totally in control. Though grim and obsessively sad was I, and never organically glad was I. Now life is the berries, and cherries invaded my home. Harvey and the children are relieved. My girlfriends say I'm not to be believed. And the secret isn't diet, drugs, or pills. I've simply found a new routine to banish all my ills. I have my coffee in the morning, my granny in the evening, and Arthur in the afternoon. I don't have any gray days, since I'm on matinee days with Arthur in the afternoon. He has a small apartment in the center of town. I hardly say it was posh, but I got my hot day and I hurry on down to hear the banister squeak and the waterbed slide so you can keep your presto. Turn it up someone's pistol, 'cause this kid's it's into. Because she's got Arthur. That's right, I said Arthur. It's nothing like Arthur in the afternoon. I read Shirley the Reindeer, without a lot of pain dear. I'd rather have Arthur in the afternoon. They say that love is better with the stars in the sky, and not for Arthur and me. We start loving when the sun is high, from 1:45 to 2:45 to 3. So don't sit there and glower, just pick another hour for your round trip to the moon. You gotta try Arthur. He's listed as Arthur. I recommend Arthur in the afternoon. Hello, Arthur. Got a little headache. All my nerves are worn a little thin. I was wondering if you had an opening, and if you did, well, could you squeeze me in? You do! 1:45. Well, I'm all ready to go to town. I'm gonna get my motor and get on down.
Munchkinland, and your MC for the evening, Mr. Eugene Pigeon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Welcome. If you don't mind, I'd like to take this moment just to pause for a while. You know, I am an actor, and this is the first single spot I've had in the last 6 months. And I promise you, I don't bask in it because I want my ego stroked or I want you to see how pretty I am in shorts. Because for the last 6 months, we've been on the Kodiak leg of this tour. This is the closest thing to direct sunlight I've had. I am pretty fucking cold in Cleveland. All right. Anyway, with that in mind, I'm not afraid to cuss because I can't see you. And I wonder, can you really see me? All right. Well, I have to write kind of like, teleprompter than tell a friend. This is a benefit. I'm supposed to welcome you to the other side of the rainbow. An evening of song and silliness to benefit the Cleveland AIDS Task Force and Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And before we get on with the business of pleasure, we have to sift through the pleasure of business. And a lot of people need to be thanked for their efforts putting this together. The work these two organizations do is invaluable, as is the time, the talent, and the effort. Oh, I'm moving. Moving. I can't see The work of these two organizations is invaluable, as is the time, talent, and effort donated by each of the actors, technicians, musicians, and stage managers to create this evening's show. And you wonder I didn't get Top Gun. Also invaluable is your support. The wonderful work these organizations do would not be possible without you and your generous donations. And we all thank you. So a big round of applause for all of you out there. Additionally, I have been asked by Mr. John Nolan of the Cleveland AIDS Task Force to remind you that as you leave tonight's performance, there is a list out there in the lobby for email. Email. If you're interested in pursuing a line of functions like this, he suggests that email is quicker than the regular post. So if you're interested in subscribing to what goes on with the Cleveland AIDS Task Force, please be sure to put your email on the list out there. I am the email, and I tell you, I have to say that was Miss Gail Cookenhowell with that song there. And Mr. Jeff Razzle Rizzo. With candor and edge, and the world goes round, ain't it the truth? And it's time for me to add my candor and suggest that perhaps you know that the performers we see tonight have collectively been in over 63 Broadway shows, 138 national tours, including 2 currently running at Playhouse Square, and have amassed an amazing 749 collective years of studying their craft. We've also had to deal with half hour getting there on time, channeling the ghost of Juan Valdez through the backstage coffee urn, and But anyway, our next performer is one of our most experienced Broadway veterans and a very dear friend of mine. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Bill Bressy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Bressy. Welcome tonight. Some of you may have been wondering how we get to Munchkinland. Well, I'm the topiary tree in Munchkinland, and I thought I'd come out here and take a couple minutes of your time and explain how that all happens. Let me get out of this. Go ahead. Go back to Munchkinland. I'll catch up with you later. Anyway, I'm a second generation dancer. My dad was a dancer. My older sister, Donna, was a dancer. She'd go to class all the time. I was 4 years old. And I'd sit there all perky and I'm watching Cisco pit a pat. Said, I can do that. I can do that. Knew every step right off the bat. Said, I can do that. I can do that. One morning, sis won't go to dance class. I grabbed her shoes and tights and all, but my foot's too small, so I stuffed her shoes with extra socks. Run 7 blocks in nothing flat. Hell, I can do that. I can do that. I got to class and had it made, and so I stayed the rest of my life. All thanks to sis, well, Mary and that. Now I can do this. I can do that. Munchkin Man myself.
Billy, you're late for rehearsal. All right. He's in line for the next Your House, My House, Bob Villa special one. Okay? Life is a topiary. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a real dear friend of mine, and a woman who gives a brand new meaning to Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Wendy Coates, and Kathy Ludico. Yeah! We're well on our way. I'm out of here.
These days they all struggle. My heart and head play tug of war. Turn back, you've gone too far this time. Go on, you're doing fine. And the dragon doesn't live here, but he sometimes comes to visit, and he breathes his breath of fire till I think I will expire. But I don't, and we're not kids anymore. We're well on our way, and you're in my life to stay. Sometimes I am so happy, I sing and feel my heart will burst. Sometimes I feel my lungs dry up, and that I'll die of thirst. And the dragon doesn't live here, but he sometimes comes to visit, and he breathes his breath of fire till I think I will expire. But I don't, and we're not kids anymore. We're well
Lift up your head, wash off that mascara. Here, take my Kleenex, wipe that lipstick away. Show me your face, as clean as the morning. I know things were bad, but now they're okay. Suddenly Seymour is standing beside you. You don't need no makeup, don't have to pretend. Suddenly Seymour is there to provide you sweet understanding. Seymour's your friend.
Treated me kindly, Daddy left early, Mom was poor. I'd be a man and I'd follow him blindly. He'd snap his fingers, me and say sure. Suddenly Seymour standing beside me. Don't give me honor, you don't understand. Suddenly Seymour is here to provide me a sweet understanding. Seymour's my
Tell me this feeling lasts till forever. Tell me the bad times are clean swept away. Please understand it's all still strange and frightening. For losers like Edmund, it's so hard to say. Suddenly Seymour, we purify you. Suddenly the girl that's inside me, sweet
Suddenly Seymour, ladies and gentlemen, not to be confused with Suddenly Susan. All right. That was lovingly performed by Christy Moore, who proves once again that it's not the dress you wear, but the way you wear the dress. And Mr. Ron Gibbs, my friend, my swing, and the man who brings more donuts to the male ensemble dressing room than the law allows. You know? I haven't brought donuts in a while. That's why they gave me a condom for this microphone. It comes off. I'm available. You know, just put me on that toothpick like a cocktail wing and pass me around. All right. Talk about your little shop of horrors. No, I'm in matches polo just like anybody else, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, on a serious note, besides raising money for a great cause, one of the most fun things about performing and attending benefits is seeing what your co-workers do when they're not playing trees, or poppies, or munchkins. I am not a munchkin, I am a human being. Or flying monkeys. It's fun to see these folks do something you didn't know they could do. For instance, well, before I go on, I'm not supposed to go on real long because there are a lot of people who need to perform, but I want to tell you, this man is really near and dear to me. The next guy that's coming up not only is responsible for the costume I wear when I trudge down the yellow brick road, I have jumped out of an airplane with him, I have lost tons and tons of money to poker with him, and I even went to Scotland with him in October. And let me tell you something, as a prelude to what you're about to see tonight, I watched this guy get up in front of a karaoke machine with blue hair, happy hour trash in some London pub, and tore the guts out of Suspicious Mind. You know, Elvis was in the building. We share the same initials, Elvis and I. You know, Elvis Presley, Pigeon, okay. Town wasn't big enough for both of us. Anyway, my good friend, my dear friend, Mr. John Smith, doing his version of Billy Joel's Shameless. Give it up!
Not standing here for all the world to see. Don't worry, that's what's left of me. I don't have very far to fall. You know now I'm not a man, still a man, insecure about the world I've been living in. I don't break it easy, I have my pride, but if you need to be satisfied, well, I'm shameless. I'm changing. I swear I never compromise. All the truth is real. Otherwise, I'll do anything to live. You know it shouldn't be easy for a man who's strong to say he's sorry or remember he's wrong. Never lost anything I know best, but I've never been in love like that. It's out of my hands. I'm shameless.
He also does a killer version of I've Got Friends in Low Places. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you got it, huh? For the first time in my life, I'm over someone's head. All right. I bet y'all don't know what a Munchkin's 3 favorite words are. Down in front, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, part of our money-raising efforts tonight includes an auction of show memorabilia. Hopefully you can all bid on the silent auctions item. Hopefully you all bid on the silent auction items displayed in the lobby. If you didn't, you will get another chance during our brief intermission. Modeling one of the items to be auctioned live right after intermission. I was going to say something else with an inner in it, but I'm not going to do it. Is the lovely Jamie Wagner. Ms. Wagner is sporting an autographed t-shirt signed by the entire cast of The Wizard of Oz. She's also wearing the Wicked Witch of the West Coast gloves worn by Eartha Kitt. And she's got a CD, a cast recording CD of the original company national tour of The Wizard of Oz, which incidentally is up for a Grammy Award. Thank you very much. Now, I have to say this. You know, be careful what you wish for, you might get it, you know? Y'all get the gloves, y'all get the t-shirt, y'all get the CD, but I get the girl, okay? Donuts for everybody tomorrow. Mr. Jamie Wagner, thank you very much. A t-shirt never looked so good. And now moving on with a little Duke Ellington and a little Gershwin, the lovely Miss Kathy Rubico, who also accompanied earlier with the Coat of Many Colors on that song, We're Well on Our Way to Goodbye. Have fun, because she's got soul, God's soul. Rubicon, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Ain't misbehaving. A little Gershwin from Little Gherkin. That was especially inspired because Kathy has been donating her time all day long, and she announced to me earlier before this ceremony, this benefit began, that she hurt her finger. So that was an impassioned rendering. The woman has God's soul, and let's hear it again for Kathy Rubicon. And we'd like to thank Jeff Rizzo, too, for having the good taste to hire her and letting her play on our show. Thanks a lot. All right, I'm supposed to vamp here. I don't know how to do that. I'm supposed to keep your attention while they set up some props. Any questions? You down in front. Any answers? I don't have any. Okay. Wow. Saved by the bells. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a brand new take on an old favorite of Cy Coleman, the man of the Oz Company, and the big spender. We take American Express. Thanks.
So let me get right to the point. I don't pop my It isn't hard to find. You can have the love you need to be. But if you search for truthfulness, you might just as well be blind. It always seems to be so hard to give. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard, but mostly what I need from you. I can always find someone to say they'll sympathize if I wear my heart out on my sleeve. But I don't need some pretty face to tell me pretty lies. All I want is someone to believe. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard, but mostly what I need from you. I can find a lover, I can find a friend, I can have security until the bitter end. Anyone can comfort me with promises again. I know. Well, I'm deep inside of me. Don't be too concerned. I won't ask for nothing while I'm gone. But when I need security, tell me where else can I turn? When you're the one that I depend upon. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard, but mostly what I need from you. It's mostly what I need from you.
True Roman candle, ladies and gentlemen. Living proof that sometimes the bucks really do stop here. Billy Joel's Honesty. Is there honesty in a chat room? I don't believe it. You should hear what I've written. Anyway, one of my close personal friends and former dinner companion, Miss Pamela Cohen. Straighten up and fly right.
Buzz took the monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the swing. Buzz tried to throw the monkey off his back. The monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly
straighten up and fly right, straighten up and lie right. Anyway, as Andy Warhol, the late great Andy Warhol said, we each get our 15 minutes, hopefully. You know, he didn't tell us that we had to create our own ensemble here, but I guess as far as benefits go and as far as being, you know, exacting my pound of flesh and my ounce of blood, I'm gonna share a little story with you actually. This is my moment while everybody's drinking, smoking, and getting ready for the intermission and the auction. When I was asked to do this, I kind of said, well, I don't sing and I don't dance and sometimes I get in the way of my own microphone, but there is a story that I would like to tell about a friend of mine who died of AIDS in 1990. And I'm going to be very brief because we have a lot more performance to hear and see, but I did want to say that I was really moved. I've been a part and parcel to some of these AIDS benefits, and I guess everybody here knows someone who suffers from the condition that probably has passed on. And I grew up in the South, the deep South, where words like dwarf and homosexual were basically subjugated. They thought if we got a healthy dose of the Ivy League and a sumptuous, gratuitous dose of Catholic and Baptist guilt, that the words would just disappear, we would integrate. But I never integrated, and my friends never integrated. I came from a wealthy family, and on the day I was born, my father enrolled me into his Yale University prep school, and then he took a long, slow drive down the Mississippi Highway asking his God what he had done to deserve me. It's not a question we necessarily ask in anger, but more in fear. And I suspect that as we are all gathered together, hand in hand, seat by seat, we are here because of fear, ultimately, because of celebration of fear. It's a great thing to have. We know what to do about it. We know how to work through it. I was going to tell you the story about how my friend Stanley Garrett stuck up for me, how he kept other people from picking on me, how he was always there to stand beside me when other people were quick to judge me because I didn't fit in. You know, I was the 0.5 child, the perfect 2.5 child family, and I never lived it down. He helped me live it up, and he died in 1990. When he came out of the closet, pretty much his family, everybody turned their back on him, except me. It's a friendship that lived in controversy and died in sadness and controversy. And tonight, you know, I think about Stanley Garrett, but that's my story. That's my story. And my story doesn't match your story. Every one of you out there, if you were polled, if you were tallied, you would have a story about a Stanley Garrett. It's a private, special memory that I keep to myself so I can keep going. I miss him, and I wish he was alive today. And I hope that in the future, we find a way, find a reason for his death, and stop it. I guess what I want to say is that I've been on the Northern Exposure line of this Wizard of Oz tour, and the other day, friends of mine and I, we decided to visit Cleveland's own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know, and I was moved there by 2 or 3 different things. 3 things that really hit me under the gut. First and foremost was Charles Manson's letter to John Winter, a young Winter of Rolling Stone magazine, telling him how he thought his cover story should be conducted, which led me to believe fully and firmly that maybe Charles Manson, all he really wanted to do was direct, you know? Give him the damn megaphone! All right. I was also moved by the fact that Otis Redding, pieces of the plane that Otis Redding died in, was picked up and pasted in a nice glass case. Otis Redding died 3 days after he recorded Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, probably one of the most beautiful songs about isolation and loneliness ever mustered. A black man from the South who knew what freedom was and knew what his struggle was, and he did not live to see it. I was particularly impressed that there was no homage or erstwhile shrine to Donnie and Marie. And where the fuck were the Spice Girls? You know, that's another story. But I think what moved me the most, and what absolutely took my heart and took my breath away, is that I'm a 43-year-old man. I got in for a senior citizen discount, shaved $4 off the top, and man, gray hairs never looked better on me. A warm Confederate gray, thank you very much. But my friends and I were ushered into this auditorium where they were showing films, candid interviews with some of the great rock musicians. And I was brought to tears nearly by Pete Townsend. Probably most of you know who Pete Townsend is.
lead singer and the writer of The Who. He's got more angst than Joan Rivers and Sally Jesse combined, but at least he can do it in a 1-4-5. He got up there and he said something that was quite profound and quite amazing to me. He gets up there and he's got tears in his eyes, as real as I've ever seen him, and as close as I can get to Pete Townsend. He said, "These were my fucking friends, and they're dead. My fucking friends. They may be your fucking icons, but they are my fucking friends, and they're dead." And of course, he was talking about people like Brian Jones, Keith Moon, John Bonham. The list goes on and on. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Otis Redding, Jim Croce. You know, people who have died before their time. And in conclusion, what I would like to say is that the other night, you know, a man who really tried to make a difference in this world, you know, whether he did or not is yet to be seen, but at least he tried. Mr. Bob Dylan was here in Cleveland. I did not get to see the show, but somebody brought me a t-shirt. And in closing, I'd like to suggest the reason why I'm wearing this t-shirt tonight, and the reason why I think Bob Dylan is such an evocative, tangible manifestation of what we're trying to do here, is because in 1986, he wrote a song called, you know, what was it called? It was from Empire Burlesque and Tight Connection to My Heart. And in that song, I think is one of the most beautiful lyrics I have ever heard. "What looks large from a distance, close up ain't never that big." And I think tonight what that means is that as it lingers in the abstract, AIDS is a pretty formidable specter, larger than life. But when it's brought to bear and resources are funneled, brought to a point right here, it's not that big. Hand in hand, donation to donation, benefit to benefit, this disease will be killed. You know, this condition will be eradicated. Not just the virus, but the specter of prejudice, the specter of fundamental fear and ignorance. And I think that's what Bob Dylan was saying. So thank you all very much. And be sure to auction. We're coming up right now. You know, I couldn't be with anyone but you. My favorite and best friend on this tour, Miss Caroline McMahon. No, actually it's not, is it? That's the wrong card. See there? I couldn't be with anyone but Caroline anyway, no. I couldn't be with anyone but you, as sung by Miss Marion Murphy. Miss Marion Murphy is the better three-quarters of our sound man. Mr. Nathan, say hi. Mother Jane, and the veteran of countless shows. She's beautiful, and I couldn't be with anyone but you. Thank you very much.
Still
really sing I Can't Do With Anyone But Eugene, is that right? Okay. Marion Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. The better half, the better three quarters of Mr. Nathan Powell, our sound guy. And now, the moment I prematurely jumped into it, and I'm so excited now because my favorite person in the entire world, Miss Caroline McMahon and Miss Jessica Grove and Mr. Ron Gibbs are coming out in their very own Wizard of Oz show jacket, something that can be yours, tailored to your specifications. These jackets have been donated by the cast and crew merchandise department and will be created to match your specifications. Oh my God. Three's company, four's a party, all right. Just a reminder, please, that these items will be auctioned off after a brief intermission. Brief underwear intermission, no, nothing. So make sure to go out and bid on more silent auction items in the lobby, and then join us back here for the live auction after intermission. Now, to take us to the end of the act, our very own 10-man, and he's bigger than 10 men, Mr. Dirk Lombard, singing My One and Only.
I'd be so lonely. What am I gonna
get right to the point. I'll pump my cork for every guy I see. Hey, big spender.
What's wrong if I'm writing songs for the ghost of Ethel Merman? She had rhythm. Everybody wants to be Sondheim today. But I don't want to be Sondheim, no way. I don't want to write another Sunday in the park. I don't want to write the next Into the Woods. I admire his style, but his style is his, not mine. And yet, the epidemic can't be cured. Even Stephen would be disturbed to see what he has spawned universally. Everybody wants to be Sondheim. Everybody wants to finish the hat. I've got to finish the hat. Everybody wants to be Sondheim, but yours truly. Everybody wants to assault your ear. No, I don't set in the bugs. They're already here. Everybody wants to be Sondheim, trying every time to rhyme eternally. Everyone's coming up Sondheim, but me. At last, my arm is complete again.
Yeah, it does.
Surprised.
Let's try
Gotta get a good tape of me.
Oh, I will. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do the whole show tonight.
Sean was gonna say, I'm so crazy.
The what? The what?
Sean was gonna say movies. I know she's not.
Oh, she's not. Why not?
She just feels overwhelmed with everything.
Oh, she doesn't want to. His sounds picked up better than during the show.
Yeah. It's a better floor.
Well, he doesn't have to do it during the show.
Oh, this is great.
Show us where your mama lives.
Woo!
Champes. We hear about the magic of the theatre, fantasy, quite unlike the movies or the telly. I agree. I love going to the theatre, sitting right there where you are, watching my favorite actor, or the birth of a new star. All those magic evenings with Lloyd Webber or the Bard. An old play by whoever, something new by Tom Stoppard. And the magic of the musicals of Sondheim, Bernstein, Hammerstein are so sublime that sometimes I wish they'd never end. The best way to go to the theatre is right there through the stage door. I leave the world behind me like a mantle on the floor. And oh, the sweet relief to know at least for the next few hours I'll know the plot. In these times, that's quite a lot. And everybody knows their lines and who they are and where they stand. It's grand. Unlike the world outside these doors, the homeless that the world ignores, the violence, the poverty, the things we cannot help but see, including our own inadequacy to somehow make it right. I can't forget the things I've seen and all the places that I've been. I can't forget. Some haunt me yet. The millions of refugees. And my anger will not let me sleep, and when my grief becomes too deep, I sing. Yes, I sing. I sing along with friends. We sing and try to make amends for some of life's insanity, and in the name of charity, we beg for money on the stage. We smile and try to hide our rage. We try to help. I know that you do too. Most of us do. So here we are in this hallowed place, sharing a special time and space. I hadn't realized before, but maybe that's what the theatre is for, to bring us together, to make us see that the magic is not just some fantasy, though we all need some fantasy. No, the magic is here in you, in me. It's a funny thing, the theatre.